Since I'll be no one's slave, I'll be no one's master. Abraham Lincoln.
I think it's synonymous with what is in the Bible. I believe the Bible is as spiritual as it is practical. There's a lot of things in the Bible that I had no idea about until I read them, that I think it's still relevant in our today day and age. In our contemporary times. It's very, very relevant. I think it's worth mentioning. In the scriptures, I remember I read somewhere that the disciples went to Jesus, and then when they went to Jesus, they went to him with a question that if I want to be one of the greatest, what should I do? More or less like what we are kind of like chasing today in our modern day and time, that some of us wants to do really well, I believe, because I also want to do incredibly well. And when they went to him, they asked him a question: how do we become the greatest? How do you, or how do someone become great? And Jesus' answer to that question was absolutely genius, if I should put it that way. Because like I said earlier, there are some amazing stuff in the Bible. I had no idea these things were in the Bible. Like, had I not read them? And like I said, the practicality of the Bible is insanely good. And Jesus said that if any of you wants to be great, he must be servants of all. And if any of you wants to be first, he must be a slave. I think that statement there emphasized the importance of us becoming servants before we could ever be great. The only way to the top is down. That's a quote I heard recently. I never could fathom or could figure out what exactly they meant by that the only way to the top is to go down. And I think now I do, because it's really important that if we want to succeed in life, ultimately our degree of success or the extent to which we will succeed in life is in direct correlation with the kind of service that we provide. Throughout history, there have been people that have succeeded enormously, even in our modern day and time. Amazon's founder, Jeff Bezos, is one towering example of that. His rewards in life has been in direct correlation to the kind of service that he provided through his company Amazon. And this is worth noting, that if you want to succeed in life, if you want to do anything substantial in life, if you want to go as far as you possibly could go, the key to that greatness is service. Let's go into the domain of sport, for instance. All those towering giants and figures in sports. In the sports industry, if you take football, for instance, Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, by far, those are the greatest footballer I've experienced and I've seen play the game of football. And their rewards in life obviously have been the talent that they have, and then the kind of service. Most people don't know this, that Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo have succeeded ultimately because of the service that they provide. What kind of are these people providing? What kind of service are these people providing? The service that they are providing obviously has to do with the entertainment that they give sport fans all around the globe. That is the service that they are providing. And obviously the most people you serve, the higher the kind of income and compensation that you get with regards to economics or whatever that has to the support emotionally and all that. So our rewards in life is in direct correlation to the kind of service that we provide people. If you're in a community where you happen to serve only 10 people in a community, your reward in life financially will obviously be in direct correlation to the number of people you're serving. And if you serve more people, then obviously it's sort of like in the incremental way, your compensation will obviously increase. It's the same thing, the same analogy with Newton's third law. If you're familiar with Newton's third law, that to every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. That is also the same thing in the Bible, that do not be deceived, for God is not mocked, for whatsoever man sows he shall reap. God is not deceived. God is the supervisor of his own laws. And there's nothing like partiality or injustice here. He makes sure that he supervises his own law. What I'm trying to say is that if you're a pastor and if you happen to serve 25 people in a community, your compensation or your reward will be in a direct correlation to the number of people you're serving. If you happen to be a murderer and you're serving 100,000 people in your community, providing them with good service and doing the things that you know you should be doing, then obviously your reward in life will be in a direct correlation to that. So the point I'm trying to make is that you have to distinguish between this. In order to be the best, in order to be one of the greatest, you have to provide the kind of service you have to serve, and that service should obviously entail a lot of people. The relevancy of that service should apply to a lot of people. So if you want to make an impact, if you want to be one of the greatest, if you want to, and I know a lot of you out there are ambitious like I am, I want to do a whole lot of things, like literally. So if you want to succeed in life, you should provide service, and that service, like the Bible says, and Jesus responds to the disciple, has to be, if you want to be great, you have to be servants of all. If you want to be first, you have to be slave. And it's the same analogy that Abraham Lincoln said, that if I do not want to be slave of anyone, then I cannot be master of anyone. So master this whole concept of you providing service. Look at Kylian Mbappe. At the age of 19, he had already won the World Cup, and I believe Mbappe is one of the most paid and youngest paid footballers on the planet Earth as of now. And obviously his service has to do with entertainment, the skills, everything, the goals and everything. And it's the same analogy that the people that are providing the most service, the people that are providing the most service in whatever industry that they find themselves, are those that are being compensated the most. And then the number of people that they provide the service to, the higher the number of people they provide that service to, the higher their compensation in life in terms of economics and then the support and everything. Mbappe obviously won the World Cup for France, and his name was all over the place. And obviously he's providing entertainment, he's serving a lot of people, and obviously he gets compensated the most. Conor McGregor, the same thing for UFC. Every other, Anthony Joshua for boxing, any other industry. You can't overlook this important fact that if you want to succeed in life, there is no way that you can escape this or try and cut corners. You have to provide a service, and your service should be in direct correlation with, as God is the supervisor of his own laws, like I said initially, God supervises his own laws. If you're a pastor and you stand on a 10-story building and you jump down, what's the next thing that will happen? There's no angel coming in between to come and save you. You are going to die. And if you're a murderer and if you do the same thing, if you're a sinner, wherever you happen to be, you will die, because God is the supervisor of his own laws. If a sinner plants corn seed, what do you think he's going to get in return? There's no way he's going to get an avocado fruit or whatever. He's going to get back corn seed. So if you sow the right services, if you do the things that those successful people in life are doing, then obviously you are going to get exactly the same result. Do not be deceived, for God is not mocked. For whatsoever man sows, he shall reap. Don't ever forget this, that your service in life and your compensation and your rewards in life will be in direct proportion. No less, no more. It will be in direct correlation with the kind of service that you're providing. If you want to be great among your peers, great among any industry or business that you tend to find yourself in, the key thing to know is that you provide a service, and then you first have to be a pawn before you become a king. In football, we have towering examples that I could give in football. For instance, some players were once ball boys before they eventually became a first team starter. If you take Andres Iniesta and Xavi, they were ball boys in their team, and recently there was this young Bayern player that had the opportunity to play, and obviously he was once a ball boy in the team. So if you want to be great, you have to provide a service. You have to have an open mind to learn from people that are ahead of you. You have to be courageous enough and to ask questions, the right questions in order to get the right results. You have to be humble enough. God says that humble yourself before the Lord and he will exalt you. God resists the proud. So if you want to be great, don't ever forget this. If you cannot be a slave of anyone, then you don't deserve to be a master of anyone. You have to serve. Put this thing inside your head. It's something I learned the hard way, that I had to serve, that I don't have to all of a sudden magically appear being the master of anything. I had to provide a service. I have to understand that everything is incremental and it comes in stages. However, don't ever forget that your rewards in life will be in direct proportion to the kind of service that you provide. Whatever industry that you find yourself, football, business, whatever industry that you find yourself, your service is key. The higher the number of people you're serving, the higher your rewards in life. Don't ever forget this.